Again, there's something over there that did not want me to broadcast. Perhaps now. We're back. I wanted everybody to see Midtown here, and anytime the broadcast gets ended, it becomes a much bigger deal to put it back up. I'll go through all the bits and pieces and put something together to put onto Patreon and Subscribestar so people who want to get every last minute can see it. But there was widespread looting and chaos, property damage and violence here in Midtown last night. No reason to believe that won't continue tonight. Sketchy people remaining on the street, eyeballing me. We are at war here. I don't think the mayor and the governor appreciate that. They keep defending these peaceful protesters. I even saw ABC run a bit of video literally showing criminals streaming into Macy's to steal things and calling them protesters. Now, a lot of high-minded social justice people will say that we cannot equate the life of George Floyd or any person to the value of property, and I'm not trying to say that we can. I'm also not trying to say that anybody should be killed over stealing property, but at the same time, when the city is relinquished, control is given over to criminals, which no people are feeling safe on the streets right now. There is a palpable feeling on the streets of New York at the moment that I have never felt before. It's, I've lived here almost 30 years, and it's a bit like maybe, I don't know if anybody's ever had a friend who's had a drug problem, an alcohol problem or something like that, but when you see a friend who you know is your friend, but they're nothing like themselves. On my walk up here, there was a lot of smashed glass all over the place, so businesses that haven't yet been destroyed are shoring up their windows.
Then you want to do it.
Basically counting on more violence tonight. And again, it's not the theft of the property, it's the destruction of civilized society is what's going on. So do not justify away this activity by saying, oh yeah, this is the language of the unheard and this is the voice. This is a bunch of criminals trying to exert control over members of society who want peace and law and order. And frankly, the mayor and the governor are complicit at this point, because making the curfew 11 p.m. last night was essentially a joke. I think anyone with a brain would have known that the violence would begin at the, nightfall. That is when the crimes started happening. And when the city is relinquished to criminals, which criminals have control. During the press conference, the mayor and the NYPD were talking about regaining control. We don't yet have control. When the city is under curfew, under lockdown, and the only people that move free are criminals, that's not society, that is chaos, that's anarchy. So if you're involved in looting and you're seeing this, you need to stop. And I know a lot of people who watch Crowdsource the Truth have heard me make statements that have been perceived as anti-police. I got my problems with the NYPD, specifically the 10th Precinct, not responding to specific crimes, refusing to act. I got my problem with police around the country. Why hasn't the NYPD arrested Francisco Garcia? Not a mention of that guy. There was a reporter in the press pool who was asking de Blasio if, she was asking why they're not enforcing social distancing, and de Blasio got real argumentative. He got pissy. He said, in case you don't know it, there's a national emergency going on. Well, last week wasn't the coronavirus thing an international emergency? Last week, coronavirus was important enough that members of the NYPD were slamming heads into the sidewalk. So that seemed to be an international crisis. But it's interesting to note what the mayor thinks needs to be enforced and what he thinks doesn't need to be enforced. When he should have come out, his daughter got arrested. I don't know the details of that case, but de Blasio's made it clear that he's very much on the side of the protesters. He and ABC consider the looting of stores and the destruction of society, the destruction of law and order in the city, to the extent that basically nobody feels safe walking on the streets. I mean, daylight, okay, maybe, but certainly not at night. I mean, it's been dangerous on the streets at night for some time. And I mean, I'm surprised it took this long for this to happen. But there's literally no chance it's going to subside tonight. Just listen to the language of this de Blasio press conference. It might even still be going. He was talking about nothing, so I just sort of left. But, you know, he fell short of saying that